Bitonio talked about what he sees from the Bears' defense.
They run, I think, the most games in the league, which is like TEs, ETs. They're a movement front, so even if they're playing base defense, their guys are going to shift and go into different gaps. So there's a lot, and they come from that tree of like play hard, relentless pursuit. So it's a big challenge for us, but they've been, against the run the last. If you look at the stats, I think they're one of the better teams against the run, and then their sack production has been up the last 3 or 4 games. It's definitely going to be a challenge for us.
The other thing, Jared, 11 turnovers the last 3 games. Browns still have the most turnovers in the NFL.
Yeah, if the Browns could just not turn the ball over, that offense would be close to great at this point in time, right? I think it's just a really interesting place for them. And I think what's going to be interesting with everything that Bitonio talked about, right? Talk about stunts or twists or all of those kind of things. If they're going to run some of the more of their zone scheme and their boots and some of the stuff that we saw a little bit more with Baker Mayfield and Jacoby Brissett, I think what's interesting is it opens up a lot of big plays on both sides of the ball, right? If Montez Sweat is able to kind of shoot that gap, then that zone scheme is blown up really, really quickly. But if they're able to get him in that right kind of angle and push him out of the play, all of a sudden there's a big gap for, whether that's Kareem Hunt, Jerome Ford, Pierre Strong, those type of players. So I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup. I think you could really see, a couple extra sacks, but a couple extra bigger runs, given how these two lines and fronts kind of work with each other or work maybe against each other at times. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. And I think those bigger plays, I think this is where Flacco is going to be really interesting. I know he trusts his arm and I know he trusts what he sees, but this might be a game where it's better for him to play it safe and not let the defense of Chicago kind of take over and instead just make the right play, take the sack, throw the ball away, those kind of things. It's going to be a really interesting game. Even if many people see the Bears as a bad team, the addition of Sweat has really opened up a lot of things for this defense.